everybody. Happy Friday. My name is Advent, or Desi if you know me in real life, or wherever you know me from. Just gonna do a quick recap, my trades, and go over whatever other trades you guys want to go over. And as always, I'm not a financial advisor. Anything that you guys see here is solely for educational purposes. Trading does have its risks, so please do your due diligence. All right, so today on mine, it's going to be pretty straightforward, really. I took some futures trades, but I can't really talk about that. Basically, all I did today, I did miss the short for Tesla this morning, so I just took the 3 up on the 4 hour. Pretty explosive move, thankfully, for whoever went long with me. Once it broke this high, let me actually zoom in here. Once it broke this inside bars high, of course, we get that 3 up. And then I just bought calls. The specific ones that I bought, let me bring this up real quick. I got the 177.50 calls. Oh, I definitely did not stay there for 4 hours. I got the 177.50 calls expiring next week because I don't trade 0 DTEs. Just personal preference. How long did I stay in that trade? I got out at target 3, which was... Hold on, let me bring this up. Target 3 was 178.62. Yeah, I got out that target with my last contract. And then we got in here. It was around what, 10:20, 10:30 that I got in? Let me check this real quick. It's below. Yep, so I got in on this candle right here at 10:25-ish, and then my last contract hit over here right before lunch. It's in there for like an hour and a half, which is perfect because I did not want to stay on the charts past lunch. Yeah, since I mainly trade futures now more aggressively than options, I literally just use the 4 hour, and if I miss the 4 hour entry, then I'll just look for a TTO, because I don't want to babysit my option trades as much as I used to. And, at least the way I trade futures, as you would know, Brown, a little more aggressive and more, got to pay attention a little more for entries and stuff like that. So I just keep it simple on the option side. Yep, yeah, exactly. I would join some of you guys sometimes, like in London session, but that thing like destroys my sleep schedule. When I was talking to you about like trading Bitcoin futures, I did that probably for like a week and a half when I was telling you about it, and then I stopped because I started waking up in the middle of the night looking for setups. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm good. I'll just stick to my New York session and call it a day. Yeah, if the setup is there, I'll take it pre-New York, but excuse me. Otherwise, I'll just stick with what works. But yeah, that's pretty much all I took today. Literally just Tesla calls on the option side. I think it did hit target 4 on this candle here, but I was way out of there on this big one. I think this candle here, somebody told me that they like laid off more workers, something like that, which would make sense because that's bullish. But yeah, that's pretty much all I did today. What do you guys take? Also, you guys could just it should allow you to like come on the stage and speak, if you want to like talk and if you don't want to type. So any trades you guys want to go over, let me know. Yeah, Erwin, you always want to, whatever platform you use, just have, like I have it here, I have four different uh, time frames up. So I have like the 15 minute here to look for TTOs if I missed the 4 hour entry. I also have the 1 hour, 4 hour daily here, and I just keep it up like that if I want to switch back and forth between my charts. So that way you can, get in when the setup is presented. Also, just set alerts because for me, the granted when I'm trading, I have my three time frames up with futures on these two and then options on the 4 hour on this one. So I already kind of know what's going on, but just set your alert so you know what's going on. And you can even set some alerts right before it triggers so you can be attentive to the chart.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Floor is yours, Ro.
Okay, so I got in Bank of America today. Um, I was busy. I was out with my kids, so this morning I set up a conditional order to go in if it was a few cents above my target. It was in full-time frame continuity this morning. It was a little below the broadening formation, so it could have gone up a little bit, and I was just gonna um, go in if it triggered. So I set it up if it triggered, like I said, a few cents above, because that would have been like possibly staying above the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. It hit right away, and then it came back down, um, and just stayed. And it hit the amount of money I was willing to lose, which is a small amount. But when it just stayed there till about, I don't know, 11 or so, I just got out. Plus, I'm always checking if I'm out anyway. So
Of
I was like,
course.
let me just get out of this. And this is where I'm willing to lose and say, I did well with not losing too much.
Mm-hmm.
So as you see, it didn't move much there. But I like Bank of America right now. I can buy a few days out at the money. So now it doesn't move a whole lot. Um, but it works for me as far as being able to buy at the money right
Definitely. Did you day trade this or was this a swing?
now. A day
Gotcha.
trade.
Personal preference. Again, if it works for you, do not let me talk you out of it or dissuade you. For stocks like this, at least Bank of America anyway, I would prefer to like swing trade it as opposed to day trade it just because granted the days that it does move, of course you're gonna get really good movement on the contracts, but I personally prefer to swing it just because like you mentioned, the contracts are pretty cheap. So let's say even what like do a month out
Mm-hmm.
and the price is at 39. Yeah, even like an at the money contract is like $50 for a month out.
Right. Okay.
But again, if day trading works for you for this stock, keep on doing it. Don't let me talk you out of it. That's just my experience with it and such.
And I do like swing, being that I'm busy. I kind of live by alerts. Um, and I like to do the conditional. Um, I think it was one day last week I did IWM with a conditional to get in when it was above the trigger and get me out once I made 20%.
Nice.
And it worked well, to be at work and have that happen. So swinging it just works better for me to be able to check instead of having to look at the charts.
Absolutely. You can do what Brown mentioned too. He day trades the monthly contracts as opposed to the weekly ones.
So a month out, is that what that means? Or do they say monthly? Let me see.
Anything else besides Bank of America, or that's kind of just all you did today?
That was it because I knew I was going to be out.
Gotcha.
I set auto and I didn't want to risk too much.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely not. It was OPEX today, so I was a little defensive as well.
okay. Thank you.
Of course. Anything else anybody else took? You can type it in the chat, come on the stage, whatever you guys want.
I took some spy scalps. I took it on my own, just using a simple method on the 5 minute. Um, trying to be conservative, so I look for when the 8 crosses below the 50.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I took it to low a day, so I was very happy about that. What I'm going to start doing, I don't know if anyone in the group does it, but I'm going to start logging my trades. Putting in like what time I took it, why did I take it, and what time I got out. Um, this is me now really doing this on my own when it comes to scalping. Swinging, that's something I'll be starting soon. I have a method that someone taught me, so I haven't tried that out yet, but I'm very happy with the scalps that I did for spy.
Nice. I can't really speak much on EMA crosses because I haven't done that
Yeah.
in ages. Um,
Yeah.
but hey, if it works, keep it going.
Yeah.
And
I did
definitely,
do the Tesla play from yesterday based off of the strat, and I'm trying to remember exactly.
was it to the short side or the long side?
Yeah, it was the short side. It was quick. Because this is like me doing this on my own, my emotions are in play. So I start to panic.
Mm-hmm.
So if I see a good amount of percentage profit, I'm like, okay, I'm out. And I took 35% on it. Um, but I want to just log what exactly I did so I can reflect on it, next time.
Definitely, yeah. Yesterday, the shorts for Tesla paid. I missed the shorts in the morning time, and then I got in.
Yeah, yeah.
I got in on the long in the afternoon, but they kind of just went sideways, and I just got out for 18% loss on the contracts.
Yeah, I could have had a little bit more, but again, my emotions got the best of me and I panicked. So I took the green that I had. But I'm fine with that. That's something that I'll work on.
Definitely, what helps is turning off your P&L because we're trading the charts. We're not trading the money that the position is acquiring.
Yeah.
So it's always like what I do. I just set my alerts on my chart, and then I just go do something else, or I'll just focus on like if I'm looking at Tesla, for example, today, I just set my alerts for the targets and then I just kept on looking at setups for futures. Because when you
Yeah.
start getting like locked in, zoned in on the profit, that's when you get into trouble and then you start like cutting your trade shorts and stuff.
Yeah.
And to your trading or the journaling thing that you mentioned, um, yeah, everybody should definitely be journaling. I think most of the people in here do it, or if not everybody in here does it. At least I would hope so.
Okay.
Um, But yeah, journaling super 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 important. Definitely do it every single day.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get myself like a little notebook and write them down when I take, any plays.
Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a good thing to do.
Yeah. And when I asked you about the Tesla on the 4 hour, I was confused. Um, I thought like you're looking at the 4 hour, but you're getting in on the 5 minute. But you clarify that for me, so thank you.
Of course. Yeah, if you're looking, if you're look, if you're trading the strat, if you're
Right.
looking at the 4 hour, you're gonna get in based on the 4 hour if that's where your level's marked. Sure, you can maybe do something like, let's see, let's say for the sake of the conversation, let me see if this will be a good example. Not really, because it already triggered down. But let's assume that price opened up here and it went up and then it reversed on the 5 minute and the 5 minute trigger to the short side was around here. You can get in a little earlier on the 5 minute to then trigger the 4 hour if it gets there. I personally don't do that. I used to, like when I traded options a little more aggressively for like multi time frame breaks. So like if the short on the 4 hour was here and then like the 1 hour and the 30 minute was here, I'll take the 30-minute or the 1 hour break to then break into the 4 hour. But like I mentioned, I stopped doing that since I trade futures more aggressively.
Yeah.
But you can do that. I wouldn't put my full size in an earlier entry just because you risk getting us, staying in like an inside bar on the higher time frames.
Yeah. No, that the to me that was so simple, right? Looking at the 4 hour, we saw the three. Once it broke above, you get in. Like I just thought that you're getting in. I think I'm mixing options with the strat method, like what I do with options with strat. So, um, but I'm clear on that.
Excellent. Kia, you took the IWM on the W on the 5 minute today? Sweet. Yeah, pretty clean one. I'm sure most people, if not everybody here, should know about the W by now, but where's my arrow? You would think somebody who made a video on TradingView knows where the tools are. Anyway, so pretty much textbook W today on IWM. We get the move down from open, we get the retracement, then we get the higher low, and then it reverses back up. You get your first target that's hit. You could either use this area here or that area for the first target, and then the second target hits right here, and then it just kind of just goes sideways the rest of the day. Super solid trade. Yeah, and then you can have your target sign like that. So you would enter in on the 2 down, 2 up reversal. Your stop loss can be on the bottom of the higher low, or if the risk reward is there or your risk tolerance is there, you can just make it at low of day, because if it breaks the low of day, it's just an H pattern and it invalidates the W. Yeah, pretty solid trade. That was a good one.
I wanted to ask about the monthly contracts. Are you trading from the monthly time frame, monthly trigger as well?
You don't need to. I think in the case for BAC, Brown was just mentioning that the monthly contracts move better than the weekly ones, and they're still pretty cheap as well.
Oh,
Um,
specifically BAC. Okay.
yeah, in the sense of like taking trades off the monthly, if I'm personally taking trades off the monthly, which I haven't done in a long time, um, I'm going to be doing at least like half a year out on the contracts just because I want to give it time to cook.
That makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, these right here, the monthly ones. Any other trades you guys want to go over? Oh, Erwin, I just saw your message. If I have a small port and I will pick longer expiration date, the price will be really high for me. How about the next day expiration? That depends. If you're swinging, you should definitely not be doing um, same week expiration. That doesn't make sense, because if it's off like a weekly trigger, it's gonna take at least a week to hit. Sometimes it'll hit sooner, but you don't want 3 days left on a weekly trigger. You're just setting yourself up for failure. In the sense of the longer dated contracts, again, it depends. If I'm day trading, I'm just gonna do the same week expiration. Unless it's Friday, I just do the next week because I don't trade zeros. Um, yeah, in Tesla's case, if your port is relatively small, I would probably avoid trading the higher priced stocks like Tesla and things like that. because for today, or let's assume you trade zeros. So if anybody did trade the zeros, I think these contracts went like 200% for the 177.50. I mean, no, the 175. Hold on, let me double check. I took a screenshot of it so I could bring it up later. Yeah, the 177.50 contracts before Tesla went back down. The trigger on the 4 hour, you would have gotten in at around 38 to 40 cents, and they hit a peak of 223 when I took the screenshot. So you can do zeros if you want. I would just be super mindful of how much you're sizing in, because if it chops, you're just giving away premium for no reason. And in this case, when I did next week expirations, I paid what was it, 320? 325. That's how much I paid for those contracts when I bought it. So if you have a smaller account, I would probably just avoid stocks like this, or you could just trade them like on Wednesday or Thursday when the contracts are cheaper, or Friday if you want to trade zeros. You can also just stick to like SPY or IWM. I like IWM because the contracts are pretty cheap compared to SPY and QQQ, and they move a little more relaxed compared to SPY and QQQ sometimes. One thing I would also mention, yeah, and the data's less, like Brown mentioned. One thing that I'll probably say as well is try not to jump from stock to stock. What you really want to do, if you do want to be self-sufficient when you're trading, just stick to just stick to like one or two stocks to master, and then you can branch off to other things. Because if you're, playing Tesla today and then IWM tomorrow, and then let's say Bank of America the next day, each contract moves differently and each contract is valued differently, right? So you're going to get inconsistent results if you're jumping from stock to stock. You preferably want to be using the same position size each trade and understand how those contracts move. Because if you're doing like 200 here, 500 there, 300 there, you're going to get inconsistent profit and loss. And if you're sizing in bigger for the trades that lose, then you might be like, oh, let me size in lower. And then you win a few, then you're like, all right, let me size in bigger. And then you lose that one and pretty much give all of your money back that you made. So I like to follow the principle of just like a fixed amount per trade, depending the setup. Generally, I use 10% of my account in a day trade. If it's like a swing trade, I'll probably start off with like 5 and then go to like 7% max. But generally, I just use between 7 and 10% on each trade. So my profit and loss is the same. I only really trade Tesla anyway for options and just trade YM for futures. So I'm pretty consistent when it comes to that. I don't really deviate from what I do on a day-to-day basis, since I'm already used to Tesla. For Shopify, hilariously enough, on the 4 hour, we literally have a W right here. Let me just go on TradingView because it's a little cleaner. Yeah, so literally we have the big drop, the retracement, the higher low, and then went 3 up. So I can probably see us hitting this area here next week. Will we hit this next week? Probably not. It depends if they get good news, because that was a disaster after earnings, it looks like. I gotta see what happened to them. They beat earnings too. But yeah, for Shopify, I can see it coming back up next week to at least the 60 level. Based on its ATR, we can probably get that in a day too. Today just did 50% of the ATR, so Monday or Tuesday will probably make up for that. I'm gonna set an alert so I can see what happens and when it happens. You swung 30 contracts on shop. What strike price? And what expiration? $65 call for 531. That's what, 2 weeks out? Based on its ATR, sure, we can potentially hit that. What was that, 65 strike? It's pretty much what the gap is. That could be in like a week it can hit that. But the thing is, with 2 weeks out, was a 65 strike, and we got 2 weeks out. Let's see. Data's not too bad. It's $3. Yeah, if it moves in your direction, you should be fine. But generally, if my personal preference, if I'm gonna swing something, I'll probably choose the strike price close to the first target. So if I was swing trading shop, I would do like a 60 strike, because it's right there anyway. That's what, $100. The delta is pretty good. It's $38. $621. Yeah. Yeah, like Brown mentioned, one thing that I wouldn't like people to fall into is like, oh, the contracts are cheap. Let me just get a bunch of them. That might not be the best, because especially if they're not liquid, you'll have a hard time getting out. And yeah, like Brown mentioned, the delta's low. So instead of paying, let's say, $500 for 30 contracts, you can pay like $500 for 4 contracts or 5 contracts potentially, and then get more delta in your favor. And you have more time, since you have a whole month as opposed to 2 weeks. Oh, Moon has leaps. Yeah, if you're in calls for shop on for leaps, that's pretty good. For January ones as well. Nice. Yeah, like for the 70 call you did for July 19, you have 2 months. The delta's better. Data's like negligible. Can it hit 70? Probably. Just gotta see. I gotta see why they dropped on earnings, especially if they beat. Probably something with guidance, knowing them. Cool. Any last things before we hop off? Any last things you guys want me to look at? Yeah, definitely. Because that bad news comes out of nowhere. Rest in peace. Over for you. All right. right, looks like nobody has anything else. Well, appreciate you guys for being here on a Friday. Please enjoy your weekend. Don't look at the charts tomorrow. And I will see you guys on the internet.
Thank you.
Of course. Later, y'all.